It's difficult to imagine a more desperate situation or a more desperate mother. For 33 years, Yvette Nichol did her very best to look after and raise her intellectually disabled son. But as they both got older, she needed to know he'd be cared for when she was gone. Try as she might to get help, it never came. So fearing he had no reasonable future, Yvette did something shocking and deeply troubling. She decided to kill her child and herself. That decision has exposed a shameful truth about the ongoing care of disabled Australians. In essence, you believed that what was best for your son was that he dies and that you die with him.
Oh, yes. We were going together. We were going together and I wasn't leaving him behind.
63-year-old Yvette Nichol is talking about the night she decided she would end her life and the life of her intellectually disabled child. A decision that would see her charged with attempted murder.
Do you now know what happened? Why you reached that place?
I was very, very tired, not realising. So tired.
To most, she was the cheerful at-home mum who enjoyed sewing. But in truth, Yvette was a mother in her 60s tortured by her concerns about what was to become of her 33-year-old son when she died. Who would care for him and where would he live?
When did you start to think about it?
As I got older, after 50. After 50, I realised what's going to happen to him when we're no longer around.
So you began investigating?
We did. There weren't homes like as in nursing homes. If you've got a mother or father you're caring for, you get brochures of the nursing homes. There was no brochures.
There was nothing?
There was no brochures for him.
Last year, burdened by the reality of her son's uncertain future, Yvette's own life started falling apart. Her marriage broke down and her son's difficult behaviour worsened.
Are you able to articulate the feelings that you have at that time?
It's an emptiness. It felt like the light had gone off and there was nothing.
You've been doing this for 33 years and you never wanted to do anything other than take complete care of him. So something changed.
Something changed and I felt there was nothing else out there for him.
Exhausted, it all became too much one night in May last year, when a call to her son's National Disability Insurance Scheme coordinator went unanswered.
Was that the straw? That was the, I can't do this anymore.
I can't do this. I can't watch him suffer anymore.
Despairing, she gave up.
You cleaned the house. You wrote letters. You selected songs.
I didn't want anything. I didn't want them to have to worry about anything. I wanted it all to be done.
When you closed your eyes, what was your last thought?
I wasn't going to watch him suffer anymore.
And then you woke up. What was your first thought?
Shock. Shock. I'm relieved.
Were you?
I was relieved.
Why was that, do you think?
I don't know, I just believed. I thought, thank God. Thank God.
You called Triple O? Do you remember what you said?
I just said that I've done what I've done and to send help as soon as possible.
Then, of course, the police come and now you find yourself as somebody charged with attempted murder.
Still in shock.
Minister, when an elderly parent of an intellectually disabled child decides that she can no longer see a future for her child, something's gone terribly wrong, hasn't it?
It has. Something has gone wrong, and we've got to make sure that we can address that and address an issue like that.
As the Federal Minister for Social Services, it's Dan Tehan's job to ensure the $22 billion National Disability Insurance Scheme looks after people like Yvette Nichol and her son.
So do you accept that Yvette Nichol was failed?
What I accept is that the system whereby she had to use the phone rather than have people being able to sit down with her and go through the planning process was not the right way that we should go about this.
But she never even got a reply. She made a call and didn't even get a reply. And as the judge said, based on that, she decided, no hope. I'm going to kill my child and myself.
Simply not good enough. If there are phone calls and it's all based on phone calls, the system isn't going to work. We need to be able to sit down with people. We need to have proper planning in place. We need to be able to talk to them about what their hopes are, what their fears are, and those changes have been put in place.
Yvette's crisis is not an isolated one. Elderly parents are being driven to the brink because of a national shortage of accommodation for their disabled children.
We feel that we have been forgotten.
We've got to feed him, we've got to toilet him. We cope, but it's hard.
Look, the party's over for us. We're just about ready to die.
Shockingly, 90-year-old Wilf Alcock and his 88-year-old wife Faye have been fighting this fight for decades.
I just hope that some miracle will happen. I just hope that something will come up, because you get desperate. We're coming around the mountain when we come. We'll be coming around the mountain when we come.
What will happen to Rodney if both of you should pass away?
Pass out. We are still asking that
Still
question.
asking. Liz, the only thing that's been offered to us is no better than an institution. Yes, love, that's right. Going for a little drive in Rodney's car.
Wilf and Faye's son Rodney is 60 years old.
Sometimes I look at him, he's been a gift from heaven. He is my mate. There is no doubt in the world. I think the world of him.
The couple has been caring for Rodney since birth.
Look, that's your toast. Dad's going to help you.
For them, each day starts with breakfast at 7.
Oh, pack up your troubles in your old kit bag and smile, smile, smile.
And ends in the
While you
evening with a special
light
song.
Your fag. Smile, boys, that's the style.
Do you see him as your child, or do you see him as a man?
I see him as my boy.
He's your boy. He'll always be your boy.
It's funny, isn't it?
Hold Mum's hand, look, hold Mum's hand.
Nearly 20 years ago, Wilf and Faye campaigned for more accommodation for children like Rodney and found themselves on the front page of a Melbourne newspaper, tragically asking the same dreadful question as Yvette. How desperate had you become?
Oh, it's a long time ago, I can't remember.
I got a kick in the guts before from people that didn't understand the situation we're in. I just hope that something will come up. And there's other people in the same boat as me, and they're probably 10 years younger.
I've got to be honest and say I have thought about it myself.
Like so many others contemplating their children's future, Helen Weymouth has been there and felt that.
Oh, I love my mum.
At 74, Helen is still the full-time carer of her 49-year-old daughter, Susie.
And as hard as it is, I often pray that she will go before me.
Really?
Really.
So what's gone wrong? In the 21st century, what has gone on that we are having this conversation and that you and so many others are fighting for appropriate accommodation for your disabled children?
I think it's ignorance. Ignorance of a lot of facts, probably. I think the government, we're not a big enough group to really matter. That's what I feel.
They do matter, and they matter to me, they matter to the government, they matter to the opposition, they matter to state and territory governments. That's why we're rolling out the NDIS.
For them, that sounds like politics.
So it's not politics, this is incredibly sincere, and housing has been an issue right through our history.
So we have failed these people, haven't we?
Look, the NDIA have moved to fix this, and that's why they want to sit down with the parents and discuss the plans with them. We've also set up a specialist unit within the NDIA to look and address this issue specifically.
Minister, these people don't have time. Are you talking about a couple of years' time? Are you talking about next month, next year? When are you talking about? Because I appreciate this is massive, but these are people who need help right now.
I'm talking about today, Liz. I'm talking about a unit which has been set up, a specialist unit to look after this whole issue, in particular around accommodation.
There you go.
No, it's not a proper one.
Oh, it wasn't a proper one. All right, I'll try again.
By 2020, in just 2 years' time, it's projected 500,000 Australians with a disability will still be living at home. More than 32,000 of those will be children over the age of 45, many with parents in their 70s, 80s and even 90s.
I just hope I wake up every morning because I know I'm in the danger zone.
There's got to be some light,
Yeah,
Rolf.
there's got to be some urgent way because it's terrible.
You may be in your 90th year, but you've got the determination of a young man.
I try to. Yes. I battle. Yes.
What do you say to somebody who might be watching you and feeling they're tired, they're all out of hope? What do you say?
Scream. Call every service possible. Tell them you're not coping.
Yvette Nichol pleaded guilty to attempted murder. Instead of incarceration, the Melbourne Supreme Court chose compassion and placed her on a community corrections order. It will take a long time for Yvette to overcome her feelings of shame and enormous guilt. But she is trying to rebuild her life and, importantly, earn the trust needed to be back with her son.
Where are you now?
It's taken a long time. I've cried an ocean. Many tears. I'm different. Not the same person I was then, but I know there's hope. I know there's a future for my son and me.
Where did you find that? That which had gone? Where did that hope come from?
That hope come from surviving this. That's where the hope come from. And knowing that I've got the fight in me now to make a difference. No mother or father should go where I went. None.
If this story raises issues and you need to speak with someone, you can call Lifeline on 13 11 14.